What's going on today, everybody? Hope you're having a fantastic day. I know that I am, and I'm going to be working back on the STI. I've had a problem with one of the windows doesn't want to go down, and I'm thinking that the motor is shot, but we're going to see if we can go ahead and fix the motor, because with these electric motors, sometimes they just need a little bit of cleaning, and especially being a window, it's probably getting water dropped down on it, so there's probably something gunked up inside the motor. So let's go ahead, take this off. Let's see if we need a new window regulator. If we do, we'll order one. If not, we'll try to fix the one that we got in there. With that being said, let's get to it. We're gonna go ahead and show you what the problem is and then start taking these panels off. So we're in the car. We got it started to make sure that all of our windows have power to them for sure. And I'll go ahead and show you that I have all the other ones working, but one of them just doesn't want to work for me, and I don't know what the problem really is. So let's go ahead, let's try to figure that out and get to it. Okay, so I'm in the driver's seat, and if I go ahead and put my driver's window, it will go down. And I can do that for all the other windows. Except for this back one right here. No matter what I do, it won't go up and down. I'll pull on it, push on it. And now diagnosing, I tried this one, didn't work. And if I go back to the back one, it won't work either. So now we're in the back, and if we pull this one, it doesn't want to seem to work either. And I've tried where there is a trick where you can open your door and hold your window down and then slam it, and sometimes that will make it enough, like break the friction, that it'll allow it to go down. So if you're having troubles, take it a couple times, open it up, hold your button down if it's stuck up, or up if it's stuck down. Just push it down and try to slam your door. Sometimes it works. This time it's not working. Still not wanting to work. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna take this panel off and get back to this window regulator that's sitting somewhere in there. So go ahead, get that taken off. Start by taking this off, and there's two little windows that are hiding two screws. There's one right here in your handle, and then one right here in your door handle as well. So we'll take both of those out, and then the rest is just push clips. Get yourself a body panel, and you can just pop them right out. Now when you're going to take this bottom part off, there's a bunch of pressure clips around the bottom, and then there's two hangers that hang, I think they're somewhere in here area. They'll hang actually over a metal trim that's in here, the metal part of the door. So the easiest way to get these pressure clips started is on the bottom on most cars. On most cars you want to start on the bottom, because if you damage it, you won't ever see it. Where a lot of people will start like right up here, and when you open the door, that's the first thing you see, is you're gonna see clips, or you'll see broken parts right here. You don't want to see that. You want to use the bottom, start at your bottom. But on the Subaru, there's actually a little cubby hole right by this piece that holds the door open. There's a really good finger hold right here that you can just pull out, and it'll get this bottom corner, and then you just slowly start working your way around, and then you can go ahead and lift it up and off. So there's two hidden screws behind the actual, this is where your handle is, and then your window regulator right there. There's two screws that are holding the panel on. You can get those off, and then you can just lift the panel up and out, and you'll get to this, and the panel will be sitting over here. We have our door handle stuff sitting there. This is connected with this. Go ahead, and there is a button right here. Push it in, it pulls out, and then everything is off. We've also got the corner piece right here that needs to come off. It's just pull, just a little pressure clip. Just pull on it, it'll come right out. Then we can get all that off. And now we gotta get back to this back here. So we're gonna go ahead and grab a knife and cut this off so it's nice and not stringy. So we'll just cut it, open it up so we can get through this window right here into the door. So before we get too super invested in this, I went ahead and undid the window regulator. It's just through this window up here, you can get to the motor. Unplug that to see if we're even getting power to it. And with that, I had to put our panel back in, and then we'll take a positive and a negative lead, stick it in here, and then the way these motors work is they send current through one way to put it down, and then they send current through the other way to go up. So it doesn't matter which one you go with your voltmeter, but if you go ahead, put your prongs in and then push it, you should see a voltage coming across between the two. So now if we go to roll the window up, we've got our positive voltage, and then we'll push the window regulator down. We got our negative voltage, so it's sending power through the opposite way, so that's good. So we've got power getting to the motor, we just don't have a motor that works. So there we go. We've kind of done all the diagnosing we can, real easy to make sure that things are working. And it looks like they're working all the way up until the motor. We've got power coming through the switch going to the motor, but it isn't getting through the motor somehow. So the motor's probably seized up. That's usually what happens, especially on windows. It rains, water, a little bit of water gets in there, it's in condensation, it's always outside. Something's causing it to rust and hang up. Now that we found out that that has power, we'll go ahead and actually take the window out. Now this is going to suck because the window's stuck all the way open. I've got all the bolts out. There's a couple bolts right here. There's 3 bolts sitting right here. This is where your motor sits. And then there's a bolt right here, and I think that's it. All those bolts come out, and then the whole system should come out. Well, I've got hangers right here that are sitting to where I need to lift them up. I've got the window all the way up that won't go up anymore. So I'm kind of at a catch-22 here because I need to lift this up. It won't go up anymore. Even if I push on it, I can't really get it up. So I've got to figure out a way to get the window down a little bit, and that might be just taking the bolts. See if we can get it in here. So there's a couple bolts that are sitting on this black piece. You can't really tell. Right there's one. So there's a couple bolts sitting right there that actually hold the window onto the regulator. So go ahead, take that off. You can see the motor sitting over on that side. The wires going to everything else. Well, I think I found a solution to my problem of getting the window down, but the problem that I thought I would have would be this. Usually these magnets come unglued, and if they stick to the side of the stator, then it won't spin. So that is concerning. But we've got this housing off, and this housing sits on the back of the motor, and it's just got 3 bolts, little standard Phillips head bolts that go on the back of the motor. And if we go through here, you can see we'll go ahead and take the motor. Hopefully we can unscrew it from here and get it out of the housing. So now we've got our motor unscrewed, and we can actually pull the corkscrew out. Now that the screw is out, we can inspect it. Nothing looks crazy broken. There's a little bit of wear. The door doesn't like to stay open. We can do a little bit of cleaning on stuff, and hopefully it'll go back together, but not being too hopeful that cleaning it's gonna fix it. So now we've got both of these out, we can actually go ahead and take the window, and hopefully, oh yes, we can just push the window down. Now we can get the window to where we want to actually get the bolts out. Sweet. So we've gone ahead and we've taken the 2 bolts out. There's one right here and one through this little cubby hole. Gone taking those out, and now the window will actually move independent of the railing system. So we can move it up and down, whatever we need to, and you're gonna want a roll of tape. Now we're gonna push the window all the way to the top, tape it up and over so it stays up. That way we can get the whole mechanism out and take a look at it. There it is, we've got some tape wrapped around the top on both sides. Go ahead sticking it to the top holding all the window up with just a couple pieces. We'll go ahead, I put this screw in to make it easier to push the window up and down. Go ahead, remove this screw, put that to the side. Now hopefully, yes, this whole thing comes out, and we'll finagle it in and out of here. There we go. So 90% of the time what happens is when you have this guy, there's something that gets stuck either in here or along this top part that gets stuck in the actual magnets. Because if you get this in here, it's really hard to get in straight, but if you get it on the side, you can't spin it, and that's what it's doing. It's stuck on the side of something. But if you get it in the middle, it has to be exactly in the middle of those two magnets, and then you can actually rotate it around and get the motor to move. And that's what it does, is that it's got an alignment pin right here and an alignment pin right here, and it aligns itself in the bottom of this housing and then in this housing. So it has to be perfectly straight, these coils not touching those magnets, for it to actually work. Like I said, about 90% of the time it's something's gunked up in here, has a problem, and it won't allow it to spin. I've gone through, I've cleaned everything. The only thing I kind of found was there's a little bit of residual glue, but that's usually not what happens. I don't know, this one might be a lost cause. It might actually be worn out to where it's not gonna work. We'll see. I went through and cleaned it. We'll go ahead, put everything back together in here and see if we can actually get this to work. So fingers crossed that everything works. Then we'll go ahead and I'll put the bolts back in it, and we'll attach it with it out of the car and see if the motor will actually turn or not. So I've got everything kind of temporary put in here just to see if cleaning it helped. I've got my switch hooked back up to everything. I've just got this temporarily sitting right here. And now if all else goes well, this black bar should move up and down, and that is your window going up and down on the rail. So if we push this down, oh my goodness, look at that. We've got a window that'll work again. That is cool. Heck yeah. Saved us some money. Just cleaning this little piece actually saved us from having to buy a whole new regulator, which is like 120, 150 bucks for this assembly right here. We did it. We just took it out, took these 3 bolts out. I used some brake cleaner to clean it, inspected everything, make sure everything was nice and tight, put some grease on the ends here, and it was dialed. We put some grease on the screw too. I forgot about that. There's grease on the screw and then grease on both your bearing ends. Do not get grease on the actual coils or the magnets. That will make it stick. But I mean, shoot, it doesn't get much better than that. A little bit of time and some brake cleaner, some energy cleaning that, and we actually have our window working again. Well, fingers crossed. It's not all put back in, but the motor works, which it didn't before. Okay, now that we've got that back installed, we've got our 2 hangers that hang right here, and then there's 2 hangers, one right here, one right here. This one holds your rail in, this one holds your motor in, and then there's the 3 bolts for your motor, 3 bolts, 2, 1 for your rail. And now we'll go ahead, take the tape off and put our rail back in on the window. Now to do this, we're gonna want this part to be down here so we can get through this window on the other side. So we'll go ahead, and we need to hook our motor up first. Haha! I was like, oh no, it's broken. But we'll go ahead, hook our motor back up, put it down to where we need it. Now we can get to both bolts easy. Now the window's attached to the railing. We'll go ahead and double check that everything works before we actually put it finally back together. So we'll go ahead and push our button down, and the window goes down. We'll go up, it goes up, and it comes back down. just like that. Wow. Pretty cool. We'll go ahead and put it up and take this all apart, put it back together. Now that we've got everything put back together, last thing to do is actually put our window all the way up. Oh, that's so nice. Well, there we go. I can't believe that it actually worked. That being said, that's usually the problem. There's probably some gunk down in there from something. It doesn't matter really what it is. There's usually something holding it up. And like I said, about 9 times out of 10, I've had luck with just giving it a good clean, re-greasing it, and making sure that everything's set and centered is the biggest thing. You gotta have those coils centered in the magnets. If they're touching the magnets, it won't work. Sometimes they'll rattle themselves over. Those screws will come loose and it will just, that housing will stick to the side of those coils. Super ecstatic. I can't believe we just saved ourselves a bunch of money by just trying to fix it ourselves. So I fixed it to see if we could fix it, and we did. If we didn't, we were in the same boat as we were before. We would have had to order it, and we would have been ahead when we go to put it back together because the panels have been off. So super cool, super excited that that actually worked. And I've done this on a lot of electric motors over the years. Just recently, our clothes washer just had the same problem with the pump on the back for pumping the water out wouldn't go. And actually what happened somehow, I don't even know how, but a little chunk of that magnet fractured off actually and was physically stuck in that motor, so the motor wouldn't turn. Pull it apart, pull that piece out, give it a good clean, re-grease, and it was good to go. Worked just fine. There's another $200 part that's saved just by giving it a little clean. So save yourself some money, take the time, try to clean it. Most times it works. Just take that little silver shield off, get it a good clean inside, give it a good clean on them coils, and make sure that everything's nice and greased when you go back in. The right parts, don't grease the coils, just grease the very end bearings. And then if, like you have on mine, there's corkscrews, usually you want to grease those, get a little lube on them so that it doesn't wear down. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. I hope this was helpful to you guys. If it was, please give it a big thumbs up. If you've done it before on something other than cars, or even if it's been on the cars, let me know. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear if this is actually working out for you guys. If you're having any problems with it, don't be afraid to ask. Get in those comment sections and just ask. I'm usually on. I'm usually replying to everybody when I can, and hopefully I can help you out. I've helped a lot of people out through the comment sections, just talking back and forth on a lot of different things. So no question is a dumb question. Leave it down below. I'll usually answer it. Might take me a while, sorry, but I'll usually answer it. So with that being said, don't forget to subscribe, like what we're doing here, stick around, stay well. Thanks guys, take it easy everyone. Peace, enjoy the rest of your day.